Now, it's been just over 18 months since America's botched withdrawal from Afghanistan under the then new President Joe Biden. You'll remember the chaotic scenes with hundreds of Afghans attempting to flee Kabul airport as the Taliban took over the capital. Billions of dollars worth of military hardware was left behind, and 13 American troops were killed in a suicide bombing. Well, the Biden administration has released a report into the withdrawal, laying the blame squarely at Donald Trump, at the previous president, can you believe? Something that was no shock, apparently, to our US commentator, Kristin Tate.
It's not particularly surprising, though, Chris, given that this administration blames everything that has gone bad on Donald Trump. But let's not forget, this disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, this was the direct result of President Biden's decision-making, and it resulted in the loss of 13 U.S. service members, the deaths of thousands of Afghan citizens, and billions of dollars of U.S. military equipment left in the hands of the Taliban. It was a complete disaster. And I have to say, I'm a little bit sympathetic to pulling out of the country. I don't think we should be in the business of nation building and, trying to police the entire globe. And Trump actually said when he was president that this was something he wanted to do, but the way in which it was done was a disaster. It was not well planned. It was not well executed. And of course, they're going to blame it on President Trump. But the American people realized this was a disaster that was the direct fault of President Biden.
Yeah, it was a disaster that showed weakness and probably emboldened Vladimir Putin when it came to Ukraine as well. Let's stick, though, with Joe Biden and what his future is. We keep talking about whether or not he's going to run again in 2024. He was asked about it on breakfast television. Have a look.
Are you saying that you would be taking part in our upcoming election in 2024?
Well, I'll either be rolling an egg or being the guy who's pushing them out.
Come on, help a brother out. Make some news for me.
I plan on running now, but we're not prepared to announce it yet.
All right.
Well, God knows what he was saying when it came to Easter eggs there, Kristin. But does that advance the speculation any further? People are saying this is him saying he's going to run, but it's just another form of words that pretty much matches with what he's been saying for months now.
Yeah, I've been saying for months, I think he will run again, but you just don't know. I don't see who the Democrats would run if he doesn't. And if he's not planning on running, it's not like he can say that because that would look terrible at this point. But, the Democrats, their only strategy, if Joe Biden is their nominee, the only strategy going into 2024, Chris, is to try to make this entire election about Donald Trump. That is why the media is so obsessed with this indictment news. They need to try to whip up the population into a big panic about threats to democracy and Donald Trump and his GOP terrorists on January 6th. That is what they are relying on because they've got nothing to run on in terms of actual success. Look at what is going on in this country right now. We've got out of control inflation, the borders wide open, criminals are running free in America's Democrat-controlled cities. The government spending is out of control. The U.S. dollar is being devalued by the day. There is nothing that this president can run on in terms of success. So they are depending on making this election a referendum on Donald Trump. If it is a referendum on Donald Trump, Joe Biden wins. If it's a referendum on Joe Biden, Donald Trump, if he's the nominee, he wins and benefits. So that is their strategy because it's all they've got at this point.